My name is Kei Miyanohara. I'm 30 years old, work as your usual office man, and honestly, doesn't make much of a good living. You're wondering to yourself, how did this kind gentleman become someone like this? He looks like someone anyone could trust to do the right thing, and he should be managing his own division. Well, maybe you're not asking yourself the latter half of that, I'm sure. But the reason remains. My parents have secretly put on a lot of debt, and they passed on in a car accident without settling their debt whatsoever. To make matters worse, I've become a joint guarantor of theirs without my knowing I did. And the folks from whom they'd borrowed money told me, or rather pressured me into paying them back. Even if I wanted to consult a lawyer, I don't have the financial security to do that. In a nutshell, I'm at the most dangerous point in my life, where one slip-up could cost everything I have. Day in and day out, I'm just so worried sick about my situation. And that's not all, because misfortune just keeps on appearing at my doorstep. Wait, what? You want me to take in your child?
Yes. Do you think it's a possibility you'll accept our offer?
Now hold on just a minute. Pardon me, Mom, but do you realize my current situation, I hope?
Of course I do. You have the burden of paying off on our parents' debt. It's just not fair. I know.
Every day is a battle for me to pay it back. There's just no conceivable way I can afford to raise a child right now. Not to mention the fact she's in middle school. We're in a really tight spot ourselves, and we can't go on like this, you see. Bro, that's the most unfair thing. Summoning me all of a sudden and giving me that when you know my situation's almost hopeless?
Kyoko, the poor soul, has been diagnosed with an illness called aphonia. And no matter how many times we go to the psychosomatic clinic, they say her situation is hopeless.
Phonia?
It seems like she's always been pretty standing out in her class, and she faces verbal harassment and bullying, you see.
Oh boy, that must be pretty rough. The parents of the students who abused her had the audacity to insult us further, saying, "Aren't you to blame for raising her to become someone like this? You're complete failures as parents." And how did you respond to that accusation? I told them, indeed we are. Wait, what? Can't be helped, can it? If I wanted to reconcile, the only option was to bow my head in apology, damn it. Mister, you call yourself a father with that course of action? Did you ever think about how betrayed Kyoko must have felt when she saw you bow down? You caused her more mental harm than her classmates ever could.
The cold, hard truth is that the child is not normal. She's different.
You'll have to explain that one to me because I cannot understand how in the world she's different from everyone else.
Maybe you don't understand because you have no experience raising a child. She doesn't go outside to play with her friends and instead shuts herself away in her room, reading books and muttering to herself. Disgusting.
You goddamn idiots! How dare you hold her responsible for everything? Thanks to her, our reputation's also ruined, and people look at us with contempt. You'd understand if you were to put yourself in our shoes. One day, some distant relatives of mine, Noriko and Masahiro Kisaragi, who had a daughter named Kyoko, summoned me to their house in the neighboring city. The last time I'd seen them was at my grandfather's funeral 5 years ago. Kyoko was also present then, albeit much smaller than she is now. Obviously, one wonders why they would send for me, and it turned out they wanted to push their daughter into my care. I was up to my eyebrows and stuff to take care of, what with the debt and all, but they never wavered in placing her under my roof, regardless of my situation. It was so sudden and so unfair, it made me speechless. As you know, I'm working my hardest to pay back the debt my parents had. I'm sorry, but I simply don't have the time nor the resources to raise your child.
Then you're fine with whatever happens to Kyoko,
You're willing to let us hand her over to some weird facility? Like a children's home or something?
Think about this. What if people in that facility also bullied her?
You guys, you really are failures as parents. Like you have the right to say that, Kai. You're not even married.
It'll only be enough if you give her enough food and a good place to live.
You did her big favors of playing with her when she was still in kindergarten, remember? That's completely besides the point, you morons. I can't believe this. You two have got something loose in the head. I don't know how you could be so cruel to your own daughter.
We've already told her. You're going to live with your Uncle Kay.
Are you kidding me? I don't consent to this, goddammit! You're not forcing me to take her in. Come on now, Kyoko, get your stuff, honey. Kyoko, you know who this is, right? This is Uncle Kay. You're gonna live with him from now on.
Him? Oh my god, see? This is what I hate so much about you, girl. Stupid muttering. Hurry up and get out of this house.
Oh, goddammit, fine. You win. I don't want to see her parents brutally insult her anymore. And I want her to be safe.
Oh, it looks like you finally consent to taking her in.
Finally, I can be free now. However, I have one condition. You are not to come to me when you want to ask a favor.
Like we're were gonna do that to you.
Perhaps my anger towards them and my sympathy towards Kyoko got the better of me. I also consented to taking her in, regardless of the fact that I was right in the middle of living the poorest life for a contributing member of society. It was decided I was going to live with a girl of 13. Plus, the fact that there's a pretty big age gap between the two of us makes it worse. No matter how much you try to justify the situation, you just can't. But I had to get her out of that hellhole. We went back to my apartment in my car, sat down on the 2 chairs, and faced each other. So, Kyoko, dear, it's been a while, hasn't it? I remember seeing you a few times before you went to elementary school. So, do you, remember me? Holy shit, the atmosphere is so heavy. I can't properly talk to the poor girl.
Sorry, Uncle K.
And why do you apologize?
Because I'm bothering you quite a bit, and that's all my fault.
I was surprised at first, I'll admit, but you have to understand. They're the ones to blame, dear. Casting you aside because raising you has become too much of a burden makes them terrible parents.
So I really was a cast-out, wasn't I?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should have known. You're suffering so much more.
It's all right, Uncle. Don't worry about me.
I honestly don't know how I should talk to you, but whenever you want to spill what you feel in your hearts, I'm always here for you. Tell me anything you want. Oh no, I made the poor girl cry. I'm so sorry, dear. You'd have to tell me anything if you don't want to.
Actually, I love watching movies from the West, ever since I was little. And I want to be able to watch them without using subtitles to understand what's going on. I haven't studied English, though. I studied many languages on my own.
For real? Then that's amazing.
Right now, I can speak Japanese and English, obviously, but I can also speak Italian, French, and Chinese, too.
A real genius. So much more impressive than I'd ever imagined.
And that's what made my classmates bully me, I think. I thought that was disgusting.
What? Disgusting?
They eventually ignored me completely, and I became isolated at school.
And the stress resulting led to be diagnosed with aphonia? I see. That's so unfortunate, dear.
My parents may have cast me out, but I promise you, Uncle K, I will never be a burden to you. Please, Uncle, I ask that you let me live here, at least until I graduate middle school.
Kyoko then stood up, crossed her hands at her waist, and lowered her head. She did absolutely nothing wrong. All she ever did was what she loved doing, but why in the goddamn world did she have to suffer as an unforeseen consequence of that? I clenched my fist and told her firmly, "All right then, to hell with being at the precipice of despair. I'm gonna manage this. I know I will. I'll pay off the debt, and we're gonna show those punks who dared harass you."
Yes.
And that's how my life with Kyoko in a complicated environment began. To be honest, the poor person I was became downright bankrupt, pretty much. But confidence started brewing up in my stomach, and I had no idea why. Nor did I have any proof of things starting to look up. Sure, you could be looking at me scornfully as someone who doesn't care about the future, but I firmly believe human beings are capable of the impossible, with the right amount of time and effort. And back then, I was able to unleash the bottomless power I held.
Uncle K, my earnings from the channel went up.
For real?
Take a look at this.
This is amazing! You're just surpassing the pay of a regular office man like me.
I know, right? When I updated my bank book, I couldn't help but grin.
And you did it because you worked hard for such a long time. Kyoko, I'm proud of you, so proud.
But I'm not the only one who worked hard, Uncle. I owe you everything. You raised me and supported me through everything these past 10 years. Thank you, Uncle, so much.
Did I really help you out that much?
And also, channel MoniRobo isn't just my channel, you know. We built it up together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, dear.
The most popular videos are the cooking tutorials, making delicious meals that even people with literally no knowledge of cooking can make.
Oh, come on now, we're taking it a bit overboard, dear.
No, it's true. Thanks to the videos having subtitles in Italian, French, and Chinese, we have lots of foreigners watching our videos and subscribing to the channel.
All of this is the great culmination of your multilingual superpower, indeed.
Plus, because I'm wearing an animal mask, I have no worries about my private life. I also just got a job at a company that allows employees to do multiple jobs, and I'm at the top of the world.
We started out not even thinking about monetization. Who would have thought we'd come this far?
Compared to 10 years ago, YouTubers have become a lot more common after all, Uncle.
10 years had already passed since I first took Kyoko in. I turned 40 and Kyoko turned 23. A beautiful, successful young woman. As of now, we live in separate houses, but for the first 30 years after taking her in, it was quite the challenge. Darn near impossible, actually. My wages are cheap, I had to pay off the debt, yada yada yada. We had porridge every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with whatever was left over as a single side dish. My heart, claiming it was tough and unbreakable, nearly broke on numerous occasions. It was that hard of a life. But right when Kyoko graduated middle school, a miracle, her aphonia, which was thought to be incurable, eventually disappeared completely. At school, she treasured her relationships with people who were kind to her, became friends with them, and developed a good social life. But that's not all. Maybe what became our saving grace was the lottery we'd won, huh? Only bought 5 measly lottery tickets, and lo and behold, we won quite a large sum. I was able to pay off the debt in full in one payment, and I got a new job at a gym. That moment made me realize how important it was to never give up and just keep pressing forward.
That's right. You were in the faculty for physiology and sports studies in college, right? But you couldn't find a job in that area after you graduated, right?
Yep, I wasn't hired for multiple jobs because I just flunked the interviews. I gave up on my dream for a long time and became an office man for a public company.
And I could graduate high school without any problems. And then I went to college and studied so much. I really do have nothing but so much gratitude to you, Uncle K, for looking after me until I became an adult. Thank you so much. So much.
Oh, honey.
Although we are distantly related, there's no blood relation. And yet…
Remember your promise, dear. You're forbidden from feeling indebted to me. I only did what any decent man would.
But…
Not gonna lie, you surprised me when you proposed the idea of doing YouTube with me. But since one can't do cooking videos in a training gym, I'm learning new things and I'm having so much fun making these videos with you.
Yeah, good thing I proposed a ludicrous idea, huh?
Why did you ask me to do YouTube with you all of a sudden?
I'm only teaching English at my job. And I think I just wanted to use the other languages I learned somehow on the internet.
Is that so?
I've always felt confident with computers and making videos. It had always been a hobby of mine.
Maybe you also thought you could somehow contribute to your salary by doing just that?
You're on fire today, Uncle.
In any case, 2 years since we created the channel, huh? Even an old geezer like me pushing 40 can have a lot of fun doing this sort of thing, huh?
Next goal, reach 50,000 subscribers. Woohoo!
I'm finally working the job of my dreams, and Kyoko has proved herself to be a multilingual businesswoman. Currently working as an English teacher at an English conversation school in front of the train station, teaching students young and old. We're pretty much an older brother and a younger sister at this point. And perhaps the YouTube channel is doing so well because of such a healthy relationship. You should have seen my camera prowess during the first few weeks. It was absolutely horrendous. But even an old geezer like me can get used to it, with the right amount of time and practice. The fact we won the lottery could also be a fateful reward for pushing through life, without ever giving up. Perhaps it really is just an extraordinary stroke of luck. But as I head for work, I like to believe we earn the reward. Whew, today was tiring, as always. Next week, Kyoko's birthday. I better start gathering all the ingredients for the cake. Her favorite chocolate pound cake.
Excuse me, is this the address of one Mr. K. Miyohara?
It is, and you are?
Have you forgotten about us, lad?
Yeah, Kyoko's…
It's been a while, hasn't it? How have you been, dear?
Wait, hold on. How in the world did you find out where I live? I moved out of my old crumbling apartment a long while ago.
We asked about you to a bunch of our relatives, and sure enough, one of them knew where you'd gone.
Yes, we simply must talk to you, you see?
And I freaking told everyone not to tell the duo of doom, Noriko and Masahiko, at all costs. You'll forgive me for saying this, but you two have aged so much anyone could think you were 70 years old.
It's true. I don't deny it.
My wife and I have been through some things over the last decade, after all.
Don't you dare tell me you've forgotten all about what you did. On that day, you abandoned your own daughter in the hands of someone equivalent to a stranger.
But that's…
It isn't every day you meet people as shameless as you two idiots. She left the nest all grown up and independent. She doesn't need any help from any grown-ups anymore. She's more than capable of taking care of herself.
It's not it. My husband and I, we're the ones who need help.
Eh?
We understand you see us as traitors, leaving our own loving daughter in your care while we live our lives as we intended to. Believe me, I do understand that. We're bearing our shame as we come out here to see you.
I don't care. I have no intention of listening to the likes of you, regardless what kind of help you need. Now do me a favor and leave, now.
You know we can't do that.
She's absolutely right. We were lied to, you see. We spiraled into a pyramid scheme of a certain unscrupulous enterprise, and we've been framed as criminals.
A pyramid scheme? Criminals? This is getting more and more confusing, I have to say.
Listen, I'll tell you everything.
As usual, I arrived home from work. As I was about to walk in my door, I was met by a vaguely familiar couple. How could I ever forget? These two snakes were none other than Kyoko's own parents. "You're bothering me! Leave!" I told them numerous times, but they paid no heed and instead started to plead for help. Enough so that they literally dropped to their knees. Oh, what a goddamn nuisance. I knew I couldn't get them to leave, so I reluctantly decided to listen to what they had to say.
There's a mutual friend of my husband and I with this business to make money. Apparently, the more people know about it, the more money you'll make. I took her word for it, and we made a deal.
Ah, where have I heard about a brain-dead scam like that before?
She'd been a close friend of ours long before Noriko and I ever got married, and we thought we could trust her, given we've been friends for more than 30 years.
So she locked you two as her next targets. She thought you'd be nice guinea pigs to use for a little experiment.
We started out by selling makeup designed for housewives. Needless to say, the products seemed pretty legit.
I tried using a few products myself, and they were all very satisfying, so that made me think this business was going to work all the more.
The positive reviews started rolling in, and in no time at all, we were making a couple $1,000s a week.
Well, that must have been cool.
For the first time in years, I was making quite a lot, even largely surpassing Masiko's wages from his job. And we thought we could live a relaxing life this way. We went into semi-retirement.
So you retired before your time came. Very unwise.
Oh,
So you were swayed at first by the words "make money," and then just like that you believed them with your whole heart and soul. Seems to me you fell into a rabbit hole you dug yourself.
we had no idea. All of a sudden, we started getting complaints left, right, and center, saying that there were quite a few disinfective products amongst all the good ones.
All I ever did was recommend it to people, but then we were actually sued by some acquaintances of ours, you know?
It's true, I did nothing wrong, I'm telling you.
And? What do you want me to do?
Could you please tell Kyoko that we want to start living together, the three of us, once again?
We heard she's now working as a teacher in language school nearby. And she heard her mom and dad were struggling with their lives, but surely she'd be more than happy to help us out.
I've been wondering what made them have the audacity to show up at my door and to talk to me about something. In the end, what my gut predicted was right on the money. They hadn't done anything, they say, and yet they're acknowledged as legitimate criminals, and they're struggling with the consequences. They were currently multiple demands for compensation, so in other words, what they were asking was for their own daughter to pay for them. Unfrickin' acceptable! Kyoko herself has lived her life under the impression she never had any parents. She told me so herself. They'd screwed up their own daughter's life so much already, and now they come to her through me, groveling and begging for forgiveness and for help? Genuinely and wholeheartedly? The stupidity of these animals knew no goddamn bounds. At this rate, this isn't going anywhere. I'm calling the police! Right as I was going to dial 119 on my phone for the police station.
Uncle Kai?
Kyoko, what are you doing here?
Didn't I tell you I was going to give you the data for the next video to upload today?
Oh darn, was it really today that you were going to give me the data?
I told you over DMs yesterday. Good gracious, Uncle. You gotta do more crossword puzzles. Keep your head sharp. For real, huh? Who are these people? Kyoko, is that you? Oh my gosh, it is you. It's me, darling. I'm Noriko, your mother. Mom? 10 years after we separated, we haven't met once. You were 13 at the time. You haven't forgotten what your own mother looks like, I hope. Oh my goodness, look how much you've grown. You're so pretty, darling. Well, I do, just in case. Oh, thank goodness. Part of me thought you'd forgotten all about me.
You're turning 23 this year, right? My own little girl, all grown up. You're so beautiful, honey.
I suppose that must make you my father.
Oh, come on now, honey. There's no need to show polite manners to your own parents. I'm your father, and you're my very own daughter. And together with your mother here, we're one happy family, right?
Here, was that? Get out of my sight at once. I have nothing else to say to you strangers. What?
We've come the longest just to see you, Kyoko. This is not how to thank your parents for doing you this kindness.
I don't have parents.
What?
At the very least, I won't have anything to do with folk who've broken their promise not to talk to us anymore. Kyoko, I will not have you nitpicking something from the past. Without a smidge of doubt, you're the child I bore after months of abdomen pain and suffering.
And we're at the very brink of life itself. We have no idea if we'll be alive tomorrow or not. 1 million. No, just give us 100,000 yen.
You won't get a single coin out of me. I have a feeling you're gonna keep on pressuring me for more and more money for the rest of our lives.
What the hell?
How in the world did you become so unfaithful to your own parents, damn it? Was it because of this man standing next to you?
You'll regret it if you go on pushing the blame onto me, Mom.
Wrong. Uncle K's taken me, someone only remotely related and not even by blood, under his wing and given me everything I've ever needed. Don't pester him again. And also, you have done me the cruelty of not noticing this one minor detail. And what would that be? Back in middle school, I was diagnosed with aphonia because of a huge amount of stress. You haven't noticed how I can now talk without any difficulty whatsoever. Oh, that's all I need out of you. I never want to see your wrinkly faces again.
But wait a minute, Kyoko. You'll understand if you just listen to what we have to say.
Another word out of just one of you and I will call the police. Get out of here, and I mean it now.
Perhaps Kyoko's words shocked them to their core. Noriko and Masahiko trudged down the stairs and out of sight as hollow shells of sorrow. Part of me thought, finally, the bothersome insects had gone. But another part of me got worried about Kyoko, whose voice had started to crack toward the end there. But I saw she was all smiles when she turned around to look at me.
Uncle K, I also brought along some drinks and some snacks. What about we have a small drinking party here at home? Please?
Seemed like there was no need to worry. All of my negative emotions melted away, and a big smile spread across my face as I opened the door and went inside my apartment. Since that day, we never saw Noriko and Masahiko again. According to some relatives of ours, had fought long and hard in court over the cases raised by their acquaintances. But in the end, they lost the war. Although they were ordered to pay large sums to multiple people in damage compensation, they ignored these orders and disappeared from society. However, sometime later, they were found walking on the street of their travel destination, wearing dirty clothes and looking sorry for themselves. Apparently, they were surrounded by a group of men in black, and the last anyone saw of them was the sight of them being dragged into a dull alleyway. My theory is they resorted to black market funds and lacked any means to pay them back. I wouldn't be surprised if they were currently living a life far from happiness and rather in the depths of despair. By the way, the relatives had blabbed about my whereabouts, promptly apologized for revealing the information. Mission accomplished now, so I'm not gonna dwell on what happened in the past and focus on my own life. Meanwhile... Wait a minute, dear! We are both adults now and it's possible, but 17 years is too much of a gap.
I knew it. I knew I wasn't a candidate for you, Uncle K.
No, that's not what I mean. I'm just concerned you're really alright with being with this fossil that stands before you.
I won't ever be happy with a man other than you, Kay.
Are you for real, dear?
What do I have to do to make you believe me? I get it. We've interacted with each other as family for more than 10 years, and it might seem difficult to suddenly change that into something else. I don't mind if you take your time, but I want you to know I'm dead serious about this, and I really want to be with you.
Hold on, wait. Could that be why you initially asked me to be your YouTube partner?
Well, you could say that was one reason.
Damn, who would have thought Kyoko was this intent on being like this with me?
You were totally entitled to refuse me, but you went out of your way to help me and raise me. Your kind heart made me fall for you, Kay, and I don't care about the difference in age.
Oh wow, she looks so bright, I can't see! It'll take me a while to adjust to this new relationship, but I promise to make you happy, as much as you make me happy and beyond.
Yes, of course.
I've been single my whole life, and you couldn't meet a more qualified person to receive the title of Mr. Reversa Casanova. But perhaps, just maybe, the person I'll spend the rest of my life with is right here, next to me. Seeing that smile of hers, I can't help but smile back, and hold the future in high hopes as we make our lives whole together